Are electric vehicles always super expensive? Dacia says not necessarily. They claim that the new Dacia Spring is supposed to be the most affordable EV on the market in this, well, maybe can we say new generation or extended overhaul. The new one will also be available with right-hand drive, especially here for our friends in the UK. We'll find out what do we get for a price of around 20,000 euros something here for an electric vehicle. It's Thomas Autogefuehl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. Completely new exterior design here in the front. You get the new Dacia logo here, and this is also in this illumination scheme, but the real illumination is here with the daytime running light. The main headlamp unit in the lower part. This is so-called extreme trim level, and this also gets this detail that we have like a map view here with like a city visualization. So pretty interesting element. And this is called here brick red. This color, of course, different colors are available. And actually from the things you can see on the outside, just the roof has remained the same. All other parts are actually new. So is it a new generation? Well, the platform has remained the same, but all the other parts on the exterior and the interior is actually totally revised or exchanged. And there are no roof rails anymore. Wheels, 14-inch. We see them with our beige vehicle. Or here, 15-inch. They are then with the higher trim. Here, this extended wheel cladding in the off-road styling is also something here with this new generation, if we can call it that way. The length, it is a tiny vehicle, 3.70 meters or 146 inches. Towards the rear, also really new tail lamp design. I think before it maybe was like, hey, I want a cheap electric vehicle and that's it. Now you can even say, hey, it has some design elements where you can say, yeah, that looks actually quite nice, and I buy it maybe also because I think it looks nice. Here the Dacia logo is kind of like stamped in here. It's a nice design element. This one's somewhat in the carbon fiber style, you know. And once again, here the extreme, the highest trim level gets this visualization of a city map than here. So the beige vehicle looks a little bit more subtle, especially with the tiny 14-inch wheels, doesn't it? And of course, we have to think about, cost savings. Then of course you get a normal antenna and not like a shark fin antenna. They try to do some savings here and there. Battery size stays at 27 kilowatt hours net. This will give you in the range of around 200 kilometers or 125 miles. It depends, of course. This vehicle is mainly used in the city, and they say that 3/4 of their customers charge it at home only and drive around 37 kilometers an hour on average, and on average or maximum 37 kilometers per day. So this is really meant to be a city EV. That's why also you have the small battery. But do we still have some of a trunk left here? There's a button to open it. And talking about cost savings, for example, here, this is kind of like loosely laid down there. There's no separate knob here where you can actually fix it. You know what I mean? It stays like this, no problem. But they also try to save individual parts to keep the costs in check. And here you have this, this cover here underneath, some more space. But this is then here actually just over 300 liters of trunk capacity. Of course, you can also push that whole thing here down. There's the cable. There's not like a separate space for it. This is interesting. It now comes with V2L technology, so it means you can use this adapter and then have like some outdoor equipment to charge it or something, and it doesn't drain too much of the battery. You can also fold the seats. You have to unlock it here, and then you can just push the bench right through. There we go. And this is then the maximum setup, about 1,000 liters. Where can you also do cost savings? Here. There's no cover here from the inside. I mean, nowadays we even see measures like these on more expensive cars, but it's always interesting to see at which details in the vehicle can you actually save costs, and then we can also compare it to actually more expensive vehicles and then see, do they do the same thing or are they really different? To unlock the charging port, here underneath the steering wheel, you pull this one, and then the charging port in the front is unlocked because it's here hidden behind the logo. It always looks quite cool, doesn't it? Either 7 kilowatt AC max, or this one has the optional DC port, 30 kilowatt, both not much, so 45 minutes then from 20 to 80% state of charge. But yeah, most of the time people will charge at home and just leave it overnight. And here, this is where you can also use this adapter and then have a real normal power socket for the outside. By the way, there are two different engine versions available, 65 or 45 horsepower. That's of course not much at all. The acceleration figures, I'm not sure if I ever mentioned an acceleration figure of that vehicle. That is, it's 14 seconds to 1 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour, and even 20 seconds for the smaller horsepower version. Once again, this car is not being used high speed. The maximum speed is 125 kilometers an hour or like around 80 miles per hour. Oh, what about the trunk? Or like we've shown the trunk, but what about the frunk? Let's see. So we also unlock it here, of course. Let's see if we have anything underneath. So in this case here, not just some space, but there is actually an inlet available via the accessory bin. So you can get a small inlet here that you, for example, can put your charging cable in. Second vehicle for the day, mid-trim expression in Safari Beige. Also very interesting color, isn't it? And 14-inch wheels, so they look indeed super tiny. The 15-inch with the Extreme give definitely a different look. And here the mid-trim also does not have the separate Spring logo right here we've seen at the other vehicle. And in the rear, we also don't have this map imprint, a more subtle look in the bumper. Turning indicators in the front, they look actually quite fancy, don't they? And in the rear, there's a normal bulb, so no LED. But when you leave out a lot of elements, that has actually one advantage. You not only keep the price down, but also the weight. So this is one of the very rare vehicles, especially in the electric segment, which has a weight of under 1 ton, so less than 1,000 kilograms, even in the highest trim. So when you pay less money for a vehicle, is the interior then rubbish, or is it actually quite decent? Let's find out together. First of all, yeah, these rather old school door handles, I would say, but why not? And then door closing sound. It's actually quite decent, and the rear door closing sound is also decent. Then here, inside of the doors, this then everything hard pack, you can understand it at that price, I have to say. Also here on the inside, this one being the extreme trim level again, high trim steering wheel and also hard pack. But yeah, the advantage is that it's also animal free. Real buttons at the steering wheel. So this is a good advantage. The design is actually quite nice. Here also design elements like you open the air vents like this. And also like this white contrast here for the dashboard. This is now digital. So you have this 7-inch digital instrument screen. Seats. These are, once again, the extreme trim level seats. So they have leatherette here, some fabric on the seating surface. And then on the top part is also this greenish note. Our Safari Beige vehicle in the mid-trim level has a brighter styling at the head restraint area. So, and then here, I mean, yeah, it is surprisingly tiny. So you first get into the vehicle and think like, am I supposed to drive this way? But then you think also, you know, like this, that's it. You know, you cannot put the seat far behind. That's it. You know, you can push it front, and that's it. And you're like, I've never seen it in a car before. So, but then again, you think, hey, what's my driving position? And this is actually enough. I would even go a little bit to the front with 189, 6'2", and headroom-wise, it's close, but still works. And also now, new here in this extended overhaul, you can also put the steering wheel up and down. So usually we say like, hey, we can also like move it back and forth, and that, but it was fixed before, and now up and down is at least possible. So you have actually enough space as a tall adult, but yeah, you definitely have to say it's not that much space, especially not here for your knee with the steering wheel column here and so on. So compromise definitely starting to kick in. Interior cockpit overview. Hard pack here, everything of course, but the design is actually quite nice. Also here with the air vents, for example, hey, they move in a nice, high quality way. Either you would have nothing here in the base trim, or then optional for the Expression, the mid trim, or standard here for the extreme trim is this 10-inch screen, so that's new. So you have basic functions in there. You also have a different home screen like this, and most important is, of course, here the smartphone mirroring. And this is actually wireless Apple CarPlay. Android Auto is also available. That's, of course, the most important thing. Oh, what's also interesting here, you have some hotkeys on top of what was music that. So here's a plus minus for volume and also to shut down the screen, for example. This is here as a hard key on top of that. Other than that, when I turn on the climate unit, you can see I have it in here in the lower part here for cold and warmer and also for the fan speed. Yay! We have manual vent control and also here for the, there we go, here for the temperature and so on. So yeah, this is at least easy to control, and then I can also change where it's coming from, AC on off. This here for the hazard lights and so on. And here, this is the window control. Oh, that sounds like you're about to die. Storage, a lot of storage here. There's also this YouClip system. So this YouClip system is where you put some accessories in to hold them tight. And then here, you can see the glove box. Yeah, this more or less falls down easily. Then you have here the 12-volt charging, another YouClip system where you can put like maybe a small bag or something, more storage here. Then there's a very interesting shifting lever like here, drive or reverse, manual handbrake, of course, if you want, do some hoonigan style, and yeah, actually simple middle console. Digital instruments, pretty simple, but you can actually also change them a little bit. However, the visualization here seems a little bit sluggish. And now I want you just to listen actually when I release this one here. And now I put it back in place. Just listen carefully. Do you hear this echo? Like bang. Why is that? Well, there's not much dampening underneath here. So this is so interesting and, really important for my work overall, because when you start at the base level, from a vehicle that is, has just the very entire base functions, and then you can find out more and more what makes premium vehicles premium in contrast, you know what I mean? And here, a second interior, mid-trim, expression trim. Here the top part of the seats is bright, and it's bright fabric. It's actually really nice. Maybe I even prefer this one. This also different styling here with red then and white on the inside. And I also have this YouClip system here now. So, for example, I can install this cup holder then here in the middle part. This would be like a bag hanger. Or you can also use them directly, like this bag hanger just here. This is also possible. It's a very interesting idea, like this. And what you also have available is this small torch, like here. And you can, I don't know, put it right here, or also at these other YouClip systems here would also be possible. And then to have some light here for whatever sense it does make. Yeah, you're at least very flexible, and I think it's a cool idea that they made this, accessory series. Let's now try to get in the rear. Yeah, this is the seat as I would be driving. Remember, it's a super short vehicle, so this is excusable, but you see that for me as a tall adult, oh. This never happened before. This doesn't work for tall adults in the rear, but you have some ISOFIX, so you can install 2 child seats. Seat material is, however, the same, and headroom does actually work. So this, headroom-wise, would actually be no problem for tall adults. In this highest trim, by the way, we have electric window controls also for the rear seats. And with the lowest trim, or here with the mid-trim, there's something I discovered that really reminds me of my childhood. I've never seen it in the past 10 years of car reviewership. There we go. Manual window control. And, maybe if you're very young, you maybe not even know that. If you're maybe my age or a little bit older, then yeah, this is something you grew up with, and this has been standard all over all vehicles, even in the front. And nowadays we can hardly see that, but here, yeah, I just have to use it a little bit more. It is so weird. I mean, I haven't done this for really like decades. And this is like, you just feel like you would be maybe like 20 years younger again. Sorry about that, but I really had to mention it. And quickly, some more trunk details. The width here is 90 centimeters or 35 inches. Here, that's when the suitcase is in there. And the normal length is 70 centimeters or 27 inches. And if you say, oh, there's not enough trunk for me, I really want the more commercial version for maybe city delivery, there is a cargo version available that does only have 2 seats there in the front, and then the rear bench is missing and you have the whole loading area then. And then there is the question, does a cheaper vehicle also means less safety? Well, this has also been crash tested in the pre-facelift version, and on the one hand, if you think about especially the Euro NCAP tests, you lose these stars when you don't have so many assistance systems. And most obviously, well, it does have some base assistance systems, but not all of them, and then you lose these stars. But indeed, we also have to say, also on the hard facts of the crash tests, like how much force has been applied to the crash test dummies, it hasn't been scoring that well. So yes, you have to think about that. It does cost you also some safety when you have cost savings overall. So we really have to point out it is not the best vehicle in safety and in crash testing. But would you still go for one? And would you rather appreciate that you have a very low price? After all, you also rather drive it at slower speeds in the city. Would you care? Tell me in the comments and compare more small EVs here.